Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this second key entitled Question the Meaning of Life and Find the Answer Within You. Well, this is a great question, right? The sense of life, the meaning of life. This is turning the word since the beginning, of course. Homo sapiens sapiens. This is what human beings is. Literally, what does it mean? Homo sapiens sapiens, the man who knows he knows. Concretely, it is the notion of consciousness. This is linked to the metaphor of the Garden of Eden. Okay, concretely, Adam is kicked out of the unity, the secret garden, and by eating the apple of knowledge, he makes the experience of duality, of the good and the bad, okay, of feminine, masculine, you and me, and so on. And also, he is aware of the fact he's gonna die. So, actually, this is concretely the first step, the fact to be different from an animal, or even worse, different from a machine. A machine has no emotion, has no consciousness, has no, let's say, way to question its existence. An animal, depending which one, dolphin and so on, some of them are more evolved, but literally, if I take the example of my cat is not really aware about, not necessarily the fact he is, of course, but very often it's funny because I have two of them, and it's like if both have the same consciousness. Okay, if one is missing, he knows it, he feels it. Okay, so he doesn't really make the separation in between himself and his brother. So concretely, an animal doesn't know he will die. An animal, when I watch the news, is not affected by a bomb attack, by the situation. He has no pain. This is the knowledge. This is the notion of meaning of life. Well, actually, this is more than other concept. It is completely personal because the meaning of life is not universal. It is, let's say, within you. That's why we can give you some keys and then you open up the doors that you want. This is really the principle of what the Greek philosophy called, Socrates, called maieutic. Maieutic, concretely, it is to help people to give birth to themselves. Concretely, I give you some tips, some advice, a teacher gives you some other, you read some books and so on. Okay, some guides you can have, but they don't do for you. You know, the awakening process to find a sense of life, meaning of life, is only up to you, within yourself. Okay, nobody can go to toilets for you. Okay, it's the same principle. On behalf of you, nobody can do it. Okay, we can help you. We can tell you when there is a kid, we indicate how to handle. Of course, at the beginning, when he finishes, you say, "Mommy, I finished." Okay, and so on. But after a while, you cannot poo literally for him or for her. It's the same principle for this notion of finding the sense. I mean, the meaning of life. All right. So, but this is important because this modern society overwhelms us with tons of information. Literally, we have pop-ups, we have many contacts, we have lots of entertainment everywhere, and this is really hard and tough to try to sit down sometimes and just to observe, to question our existence. And concretely, this is also a wish, let's say. This is the principle of bread and circus. It has been used for centuries. It's coming from Roman Empire. So, and it's still the case. Brzezinski said 20 years ago, he talked about the same principle that he recycled with tititainments. Tititainments, what does it mean? It means tits and entertainment is a mix. Tits literally is amusements, it is distraction, it is entertainment, okay? Money as well, plus, yeah, tits is that, it is the emotion, the money, and so on, plus entertainment. So it's combined. This is a concept of I focus on star system, Instagram, and so on, the social network, social media, and so on. Let's say shallow dimension, okay? And in parallel, I don't focus on existential things. Why I'm here on this planet? What is my reason for being? You know, all this really, really deep question that some people try to avoid, and also we never have any moments for that. That's why there is more and more life coach. It's because actually, except maybe through the philosophy, but philosophy, not all the countries are proposing this as a program, except maybe in Europe or in South America, maybe. But it's, even if I take the example of France, is only 1 year, and this is, you're very young, you're 17 years old. So concretely, all these notions is really up to you. So concretely, it can be built in, okay, because you're curious, but when I'm talking about curious, it's not about a gossip. It is a natural curiosity. You know, the kids, normally, when they are a little bit, let's say, resourceful, they're questioning all the time the existence. And this is really interesting because sometimes they ask you some really deep question, innocent question with a deep meaning, like, for example, why the sky is blue, or what's a frontier, what's a passport, what for? It means if I don't have papers, if I don't have passport, I don't exist, I don't have identity, I'm not recognized. All these questions, which seems to be funny at first sight, but sometimes you say, yeah, right, why? And actually, you know, it's the same principle. That's why the kids, the children, and in addition, our inner child is really important. We will see later in another key why it's so important to reactivate, because it's the capacity to question the solidity of our foundation. Our foundation, like international-wide, worldwide, nationwide, local-wide, and so on, the basis, okay, of the institution, religious institution, law institution, politics, all this kind of thing. It does make sense nowadays. It does make sense. It is actually, it's a kind of lucidity. Lucidity in Latin means light. Okay, it means that it is animated through the desire to highlight, and also to find light. Okay, meaning thereby the truth. Okay, so it's not to be a dissident to question all the time, but it is just the fact to say, okay, why is like this? You know, it's the same principle when you drive and you ask to someone how to do, what is your techniques, and some people, they just do automatically because you have the gear to manage, you have the pedal, you have the wheel, and so on. But concretely, to fragment the different tasks, some people are unable to transmit or to explain that. So we are part of a game, okay, that's we call life, and lots of people, they don't know what's the goal. It's like you play soccer, okay, and you don't know that you have to score, okay, you have to kick the ball in the cage of people, the other team. If you don't know that, what's the point? Just to kick, to run. And actually, it's a metaphor, because a lot of people are rushing at life towards something they don't know. And some people is because they run away, they flee themselves, because they're afraid about just admiring, quote mark, the vacuum of the life. And I'm not talking about materialistic dimension, because a lot of people, they can, tick the different thing. I have the good career, I have a good trophy wife or husband, I have a beautiful credit, I have a beautiful car, I have two villas and so on. And then deep inside, Elif Shafak said one thing very important. She say it's quite deep. She say, no matter who you are, where you live, deep inside, we all feel incomplete. It's like if we had lost something and experiencing the need to find it back. What is this something? Most of us will never find it. And among those who succeed, even rarer are those who go on this quest. Wow! What is this something? This is something that we will try to define with the different keys. But a lot of people feel incomplete. And by the way, happiness, an equivalent is fulfillment. Okay? COVID, vid, means, can be associated to vacuum, vid, of meaning. And a lot of people, due to this crisis, because they stay home and so on for the lockdown, and just start to question their existence, saying, what for? Okay, I have a lot of money. If I don't have health, if I'm not happy deeply, okay, what for this? And this is really important to question for having a real deep reason for being. Secondly, why questioning? Because this is really something that all spirituality, all esoteric currents push, or let's say invites human beings to question the existence, to question the master, to question the teacher, to question everything. As long as for them is not crystal clear, you have to keep on searching, seeking, and try to question as well. This is really important. It's like to testify, to validate the solidity of a belief, okay? And that's why it's very important to share with people. But, Sufism invite people to question everything, even this proverb. You understand the point? It means that even the let's say the advice, and I think the same, the advice I give you, even that takes what's vibrates within you, because maybe it's for now, maybe it's for later, maybe you can take it out, or maybe because it's not adapted for you. That's why there is so many currents converging to the same, coming from the same source and converging to the same oceans, okay? Why some people are more visual, some people are more auditive? Because we are all different. We are all different. That's why a psychologist can work with someone with a certain sensitivity and not working with someone else. This is the reason why we have different ways of teaching, and there is many methodology. But concretely, actually, nobody can go to toilets on behalf of you. This is extremely important. That's why all spirituality, deep spirituality, I'm not talking about kind of certain dogma, for which some of them, not all of them, some of them, they really have an aspiration to fragment and to separate people and to do proselytism, to create battle, to divine, and let's say to have more power. Is a matter of fact. It existed in the past. It is a tool, basically. But let's say I'm talking about pure spirituality. All of them, pure ones, have the same aspiration. And they're all converging with the same philosophy that we can find in Delphi, in the Greek philosophy, which is know thyself and you will know the mystery of God's and the universe. Why? Because the inner work, the inner gazing allows you concretely to discharge the old emotions, the old energy that you are towards your network, the event, life in general, everything, okay? And as long as you still have this charge of negativity, you're not peaceful, right? And actually, that's why it's important to know yourself, because once you you release, how you release, if you're stressed, you need to engage a lot, and it's better. So you need to press, you need to treat. We will see that when we will talk about cleansing. But concretely, is that to be peaceful towards the world. But concretely, that's why it's so important to do this inner work, this inner journey. Nobody can do it for you. That's a matter of fact. Well, that's why this personal initiatory journey is within you and not outside. There is a resonance that we will define later. As long as you clean up inside, you will find back the unity. And thanks to that, you will be unified, or you will be peaceful with the world. So concretely, that's why this is double sense. This is finding the awakening allows you to be, let's say, this is inner connection, bringing you outer connection. This is extremely important. Well, if I had to resume, questioning the meaning of life makes possible to question it and thereby to understand it from there, to appreciate it and to have the holistic perspective, and thereby you can focus on some specific elements. Well, down-to-earth approach, and as let's say a practice, I invite you to think about what is your definition, what is for you the meaning of life. First question. I know it's quite tough. Secondly, what is your own one? That's to say, what is your meaning of life? Why you wake up every single morning? What's in the absolute? What's your reason for being? And also, what's your mission? What do you bring to other people? It can be just your education, can be just you're a painter and that's it. It's already fine. But try to visualize that, the meaning of your life first, and also to define what you like, and also your objectives. Okay, as Seneca said, there is no favorable wind for those who don't know where they go. Okay, so if you just run, as we say for a soccer game, it's useless. Okay, so you have to define some objectives, concrete objectives, reachable objective, of course, qualitative, quantitative. Qualitative means it's subjective. I want to be happy. Okay, it's a good one, but how to measure this, we cannot. But this is qualitative. Quantitative is, I want some kids. How many? 1, 2, 10? This is quantitative. But it's important to be precise. Why? Because it's like a kind of roadmap for you to visualize, and the more you visualize, you shape your mind and you prepare the energy of your path. And this is extremely important. That's why also it's important to structure this by writing, or just, I don't know, it can be on a computer. But anyway, to take a little bit of time just to visualize this. This is important. And also, when I say to be precise, I give you an example. For instance, you want to get a job, okay? It doesn't mean anything. It's not precise enough, because if you look at if you seek on the website tomorrow, okay, announcement is a job. You get a job, an announcement, basically. You don't sign a contract, okay? It's different, all right? So be precise. And the fact to say, for example, I want a job, okay? Universe can satisfy your desire of wishing, okay? So tomorrow you're satisfied because you want a job. So you will be in a process of will every day for month and month and month. So concretely, in your objective is not I want a job, is thank you for this amazing job, and then you define, because if it's a job, I don't know, and you're obliged to change your area, it's 2 hours from your home, there is really bad atmosphere, this is underpaid, it can be any things, okay? So, but so have to define, okay, something very exciting, passionating, I can be happy, and so on. You define precisely, okay? And is linked to your center of interests. This is important. Secondly, so define your reason for being, define your objectives precisely, and then also a methodology, how to reach them. This is important. What's your tactics, your strategy? Okay, you want to do a transition, you have enough to work for a company for which you're not vibrating anymore for, let's say, their motto or their philosophy. Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, what do you like? Okay, I like, I don't know, cooking. Let's do it. Okay, so try to take some trainings. You can have a lot of tutorials, videos for free, or some course online, not so expensive. And you train, and you train, and you can do some self-training. So this is, everything is possible, especially at this period of time of this new era of digitalization. It's the positive part. So you can do it, you can do it. And as long as you put this with a perspective, it's motivating for you. You will survive more with your company, because if you establish saying, okay, within 1 year, because another point, last point, important is to define the deadline. A deadline means that's, is not in 10 years, you want a kid, okay, not at the end of your life when you are a grandpa, of course not. So you want this transition, change, shift for a new job, okay. Within 1 year, okay, it's fair enough. I can quit naturally my job once I consider that I have some knowledge regarding cooking, and then I found another one like this. I can do the jump. Okay, so this is some basic techniques for you really to visualize and also to aspire of something maybe bigger, and also something vibrating within you. Because once again, and let's come back to awakening, enlarging your perspective, enlarging the doors of let's say consciousness, is only up to you, up to the universe that you have within you. So this is extremely important to consider as, let's say, a long process, because once again I insist, it's an endless process. Awakening is not a diploma that we get or we pass. No, it is, let's say, something we can always improve, and that's why it's so motivating, because happiness occurs on the road, not only at the destination. And there is many roads. All the roads lead to Rome and to home. Thank you for your attention, and see you soon.